You're still stressed about money because you're not using these 52 simple money habits. You're still stressed about money because no one told you the uncomfortable truth. It's not just your salary, it's not bad luck, and it's not the economy. It's the habits you repeat every day that drain your energy, your mental clarity, and your ability to build financial stability. You wake up tired, go to bed worried, and tell yourself this is normal. It's not. The chaos you feel doesn't come only from credit card debt or bills. It comes from financial decisions you never question. Money anxiety doesn't show up overnight. It's built quietly over years, and it can be undone the same way with simple, repeated strategic habits. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 52 simple money habits that will change how you relate to money and how you relate to yourself. If you apply just a few, your stress goes down. If you apply many, your life changes. If you apply all of them, you will never go back to the point where you are right now. Let's step straight into what's really keeping you stuck. 1. The habit of checking your money every day. Your mind creates chaos when it has no idea what's going on. Looking at your numbers every day, even for 2 minutes, cuts through the mental fog and puts you back in control. It's not about tracking every penny. It's about ending financial blindness that keeps you worried without knowing why. Daily clarity is the first step out of money stress. 2. The habit of deciding before you spend. Financial stress is born when you spend first and decide later. Flip the order. Decide first, act after. Every purchase has to answer a simple question. Does this move me closer to or further from the financial life I want? When you decide with intention, you kill impulse spending and take your power back. Without this filter, no income will ever feel like enough. 3. The habit of paying your priorities first. Money disappears when everything is urgent and nothing is truly important. Paying your priorities first puts your financial life in order. Savings, minimum investing, and essential bills should go out before any emotional or impulse spending. This habit keeps you from living in constant crisis mode and forces you to build real stability. Without clear priorities, your money always shows up late. 4. The habit of tracking every money leak. Big expenses don't usually break you. The small ones you ignore do. Tracking every money leak exposes spending that felt invisible, but is wrecking your stability. Unused subscriptions, daily treats, small purchases that don't hurt once, but add up every week. When you see those patterns on paper, you stop justifying and start correcting. Without this habit, money disappears with no clear reason. 5. The habit of separating your money into different accounts. Chaos shows up when all your money lives in one messy pile. Splitting your income into different accounts creates instant order. One for fixed bills, one for savings, one for investing, one for goals or sinking funds. This keeps you from spending what you shouldn't and forces you to think before moving a dollar. External organization reduces internal confusion. Without separation, everything spirals. 6. The habit of automating what you know you should do. Relying on willpower is a guaranteed way to stay broke. Automating savings, bill payments, and investment contributions kills excuses and procrastination. When the money moves automatically toward your goals, your brain can relax and your results improve. Automation turns good intentions into facts. Without it, every month starts from zero and you keep promising next month will be different. 7. The habit of limiting the decisions that drain you. Financial exhaustion isn't just about money. It's about the ridiculous number of decisions you make every day. Clothes, food, routes, chores, apps, social media, everything competes for your attention. When you reduce repeated decisions, you free up mental energy for what actually matters: saving, investing, planning, thinking clearly. Simplicity protects your mind. Without control, decision fatigue pushes you to spend badly. 8. The habit of saying no more often. Your wallet bleeds every time your mouth can't say no. You say yes to nights out, favors, Amazon orders, and random plans you didn't even want, just to avoid awkwardness. Every automatic yes is money and energy that never reaches your real goals. Learning to say no calmly and firmly is a powerful filter. It protects your time, your attention, and your bank account. Without boundaries, other people spend your money for you. 9. The habit of putting time between the urge and the purchase. Most bad spending decisions are born in seconds. You see it, want it, buy it, done. Adding time between the urge and the swipe gives you back mental and financial control. Waiting 24 hours for small purchases and 7 days for larger ones kills up to 80% of your impulse buys. Desire goes down, clarity goes up. If you only buy when your mind is calm, your wallet can breathe. Without a pause, your impulses run your life. 10. The habit of reviewing your money goals every week. Anxiety wins when you forget where you're going. Looking at your financial goals every week keeps your mind focused and your money aligned with what actually matters to you. This isn't fake motivation. It's a constant reminder of what you're building and why it matters. When you see your progress, discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like purpose. Without a weekly review, you lose direction and fall back into the habits that keep you stuck. 11. The habit of simplifying your lifestyle. You're not overwhelmed just because you don't earn enough. You're overwhelmed because you're living more expensive than your brain and nervous system can handle. Simplifying your lifestyle is not going backward. It's creating space to breathe. Fewer objects, fewer commitments, less noise. When you cut what isn't necessary, your money lasts longer, your mind is clearer, and your decisions improve. Without simplicity, everything feels urgent and nothing feels stable. 12. The habit of tracking your spending without obsessing. Most people know they spend too much, but very few know where the money actually goes. Tracking your spending shows you the truth with no filter. Patterns, leaks, repeated treats that feel small but wreck your stability. It's not about living with a calculator in your hand. It's about having clarity so you can decide better. When you see your numbers, your behavior changes. Without records, you walk blind and repeat the same mistakes. 13. The habit of cutting one money leak every week. Your quiet poverty doesn't come from one huge mistake. It comes from 20 little leaks you ignore. Useless subscriptions, hidden fees, repeated cravings, charges you could negotiate or cancel. If you cut just one leak each week, your money stops evaporating. It's a simple habit with a compounding effect. Every cut creates space for savings, investing, and stability. Without this consistent trimming, you'll always feel like you work hard and move nowhere. 14. The habit of using a brutally simple budget. Your brain rejects complicated spreadsheets, not math. That's why you run from the word budget and stay in chaos. A simple budget with a few clear categories changes everything. How much comes in, how much goes to fixed bills, how much to savings, how much to investing, how much to fun. Nothing fancy, just visible limits. When every dollar has a job, the feeling of, I don't know where my money went, disappears. Without a simple budget, your financial life is permanent improv. 15. The habit of treating your money like a partner, not an enemy. Most people are at war with money. They blame it, fear it, ignore it, or waste it. Money responds to how you treat it. When you see it as a partner, you start listening to it, caring for it, multiplying it, and expecting it to work for you. That mental shift changes your behavior. You spend with intention, invest with purpose, and save without resentment. Healthy relationship, solid results. Without this shift, every financial decision feels like a fight. 16. The habit of giving every dollar a name. Money without a name disappears. Every time you get paid, you decide in seconds whether that money will become freedom or chaos. Assigning a purpose to every dollar before you spend it keeps your account from turning into a free-for-all zone. Savings, investing, debt, fun, education, everything labeled. When your money knows where to go, it stops wandering. Without this habit, you spend your days putting out fires with money you never planned to use that way. 17. The habit of looking at your numbers weekly instead of hiding. A lot of people avoid checking their accounts because they're scared of what they'll see. That fear is exactly what keeps them trapped. Reviewing your numbers once a week, income, spending, debt, goals, gives you instant control. It's not a punishment, it's your dashboard. The more often you review, the smaller and easier the corrections become. When you don't look, problems grow silently until they explode. 18. The habit of creating tiny daily money goals. People burn out because they only think in huge goals. Save a lot, get out of debt, invest right. That's paralyzing. Your brain moves forward with small, constant wins. Micro goals like no takeout today, move $10 to savings, read 2 pages about money, cancel 1 unused service, build real traction. These tiny pushes stacked over time change your financial identity. Without micro goals, everything feels too big and you never start. 19. The habit of protecting your attention like it's money. Your attention is your most valuable asset, but you give it away for free. Social media, notifications, endless news, drama, random conversations, it all drains your focus. Every interruption costs you clarity, energy, and good financial decisions. When you protect your attention, turning off notifications, setting focus blocks, unplugging from what drains you, your life starts to organize itself. What felt complicated becomes obvious. Without protecting your attention, the world decides for you and your wallet pays the price. 20. The habit of having a set money day every week. Your financial life doesn't get better with random actions. It improves with rituals. Having a money day every week at the same time creates a non-negotiable checkpoint. In that block you review spending, adjust goals, check balances, and plan next week. This ritual moves your money from chaos mode to management mode. Without a weekly money routine, all your decisions stay reactive and disorganized. 21. The habit of simplifying your accounts so you don't get lost in them. The more accounts you have, the more leaks show up. Every extra account is another door for confusion, hidden fees, and impulsive transfers. Simplifying your financial setup, fewer accounts, fewer cards, fewer apps, gives you instant clarity. With just a few inflows and outflows, you can see everything at a glance and react faster. Simplicity is not poverty, it's control. If your money is scattered, you are too. 22. The habit of knowing the difference between want and need. Your brain lies to you every day, making everything feel necessary. It's not. Mixing wants and needs is one of the roots of financial stress. Needs keep you alive and functional. Wants feed your ego or your mood. When you learn to separate the two, you can spend on what's essential without guilt and say no to what only fills emotional gaps. That simple distinction completely changes your daily decisions. 23. The habit of only buying when you're emotionally neutral. Most people spend at emotional peaks: stress, hype, boredom, loneliness, anxiety. In those states, you don't decide, you react. And reacting is expensive. Buying only when you're emotionally neutral means waiting until your mind is clear, your breathing is calm, and the urge has dropped. That's when you see if you actually want the thing or you were just trying to numb yourself. This simple filter wipes out unnecessary purchases and gives you your power back. Without emotional neutrality, your card makes the decisions. 24. The habit of setting a clear limit for emotional spending. Bad days are guaranteed. Stress, frustration, and loneliness are part of the deal. Pretending you'll never spend from emotion is a lie. The answer isn't denial, it's limits. Setting a fixed monthly amount for emotional spending lets you blow off steam without blowing up your budget. When the limit is gone, it's gone. This habit balances humanity and discipline. Without a limit, every strong emotion turns into an expensive purchase. 25. The habit of treating your subscriptions like debt subscriptions are the silent enemies of the modern budget. They don't make noise, they don't hurt once, they just quietly drain your money every month. Treating subscriptions with the same seriousness as debt forces you to justify each one. Do you use it? Does it help you? Do you really need it? If it fails those questions, it goes. This habit gives you control and instant cash flow back. Without it, you keep paying for old versions of yourself. 26. The habit of giving every recurring bill an expiration date. Recurring expenses age with you, but you rarely question them. Utilities, internet, apps, memberships, temporary plans that became permanent. Each one should have an expiration date, a specific day when you sit down and ask, is this still worth what I'm paying? That keeps you from spending years locked into prices and services that no longer make sense. When every recurring expense has a review date, nothing stays in your budget by accident. Without it, your bills live forever without your permission. 27. The habit of using a mandatory wait rule for purchases. When you like something, your brain creates fake urgency. It's not a need, it's an impulse. The wait rule cuts that impulse at the root. Before you buy, you wait a set amount of time, 24, 48, or 72 hours depending on the price. During that window, the emotion cools down and logic shows up. Most urgent must-haves die on their own. This habit saves you money without feeling deprived. Without a wait rule, you're basically buying instant versions of your moods. 28. The habit of comparing before you buy, even when you're lazy. Financial laziness is expensive. A lot of people buy the first option they see because they don't want to waste time, but that fake time saving turns into money loss every month. Comparing prices, plans, quality, and alternatives is not being cheap. It's basic money intelligence. 3 minutes of comparison can save what you earn in hours at work. When you compare, you buy better. When you don't, you pay for convenience with your future. 29. The habit of identifying your main spending trigger. Everyone has a trigger that fires automatic spending. Stress, loneliness, celebration, comparison, boredom. Until you know yours, you'll keep believing you just spend. Not true. Your spending has a pattern. Once you spot it, you can see it coming, slow it down, and swap it for something that doesn't cost money. This habit changes your relationship with consumption because it attacks the root, not the symptom. Without knowing your trigger, you keep running the same loop without understanding why. 30. The habit of having a replacement plan for every impulse. Killing a bad habit without replacing it is asking for a relapse. Your brain doesn't accept a vacuum. If you remove an automatic behavior, it needs a new one to plug in. That's why, when a spending impulse shows up, "I won't buy it," isn't enough. You have to know exactly what you'll do instead. Walk, drink water, write down the urge, breathe, read your goals, move a small amount to savings. Immediate replacement, clear alternative action, clear signal to your brain. Without a plan, the impulse wins because it has no competition. 31. The habit of logging every expense the same day. Not tracking your spending is choosing to live blind. You think you kind of know, but your brain distorts, forgets, and minimizes. Writing down every expense the same day, not tomorrow, not on the weekend, keeps your financial awareness sharp. It's not about controlling the money, it's about controlling your reality. When you see your spending in front of you, you make better decisions and course correct faster. Without daily logging, it always feels like money just slips away. 32. The habit of reviewing your spending without making excuses. Tracking is one part, honest review is the other. A lot of people write down their spending, then lie to themselves. I needed that. It wasn't that much. I deserved it. Excuses are mental traps that keep you broke. Reviewing your spending without excuses means looking at it like a cold auditor. No stories, no drama, just facts. Does it add? Does it subtract? Does it move you toward or away from your goals? That level of honesty is uncomfortable and freeing. Without it, you'll always be able to justify decisions that hurt you. 33. The habit of ending each day with one conscious money decision. Most days look the same. You work, you spend, you scroll, you sleep. No review, no correction, no intention. That autopilot keeps you trapped. Ending the day with one single conscious money decision, moving a small amount to savings, canceling a charge, adjusting a goal, logging something you missed, creates a powerful rhythm. The size of the action doesn't matter, the consistency does. This daily close reminds you who's actually in charge of your financial life. Without it, you just repeat days instead of progressing. 34. The habit of anticipating your expenses before they hit. People who are always stressed about money don't plan, they react. Every bill surprises them. Renewals, birthdays, car stuff, school stuff, holidays, yearly fees. None of this is truly a surprise. When you anticipate your expenses, weekly, monthly, quarterly, you kill the fake emergency that destroys your budget. Knowing what's coming lets you set money aside, shift priorities, and avoid panic. Anticipation is practical freedom. Without it, you always feel like a victim of unexpected costs that were totally predictable. 35. The habit of having a fund for irregular expenses. Irregular expenses are the ones that shake your world the most. Repairs, medical bills, gifts, replacements, trips, annual fees, car maintenance. They don't show up every month, but when they do, they crush your budget. A specific fund for these, small, steady, separate, removes the drama. It's not traditional savings and it's not investing. It's an emotional and financial shock absorber. When this fund exists, no surprise can knock you over. Without it, every surprise becomes debt or anxiety. 36. The habit of checking your money goals monthly so they don't die. Goals don't fail because of lack of motivation, they fail because you quietly abandon them. 1 month without looking at your goals is enough to slide back into old habits, lose clarity and self-sabotage. A monthly review forces you to adjust course, double down on what works and drop what doesn't. It's not a cute ritual, it's a strategic check-in. Goals you review become alive and demanding. Without a monthly review, your goals turn into vague wishes with no real force. 37. The habit of building a savings system that doesn't rely on willpower. Willpower is fragile. It works one day and collapses the next. If your savings depend on remembering, feeling like it, or being motivated, they will never be consistent. Real savings are built on automatic systems, scheduled transfers, fixed percentages, rules you decided when you were calm. Automation kills the internal negotiation you always lose. When savings happen without asking your mood for permission, they finally grow. Without automation, your money leans on a muscle that gets tired fast. 38. The habit of keeping savings separate from everyday money. Having all your money in one account is an invitation to self-sabotage. Your brain sees the balance and assumes it's all available. Moving your savings to a separate account, harder to touch, No card attached. No instant access creates a powerful psychological wall. When the money is out of reach, you stop seeing it as part of your daily spending and it starts to feel sacred. This small change prevents leaks and strengthens your discipline. Without separation, your savings are just pre-spent money. 39. The habit of saving first and spending after, not the other way around. Most people do the opposite. They spend first and hope something is left to save. Nothing is ever left. Saving first is an act of self-leadership. It's choosing that your future matters more than your current impulse. When you move money to savings the moment you get paid, everything else fits into what remains. Your lifestyle adapts to the available amount, and your progress stops depending on random luck. Without this habit, you live waiting for a miracle instead of building results. 40. The habit of setting a minimum savings percentage that is never negotiable. Savings based on mood die fast. Savings based on percentages survive everything. When you define a minimum percentage, small but untouchable, you create a rule that governs you even on hard weeks. It doesn't matter if your income changes. Your commitment doesn't. That percentage becomes your stability base, your non-negotiable financial identity. It's your floor, not your ceiling. Without a fixed percentage, your savings bounce up and down with your emotions and never grow consistently. 41. The habit of doing a monthly money audit without lying to yourself. Most people never improve their finances because they lie to themselves. They soften numbers, ignore little expenses, and make up stories. A monthly audit is the antidote, a raw, objective, no excuses review. How much came in, how much went out, how much stayed, and why. You look at the numbers as they are, not as you wish they were. That kind of brutal honesty hurts at first, but heals later. This is where you spot patterns, automatic waste, and behaviors that sabotage your growth. A monthly audit is self-awareness applied to money. 42. The habit of tracking your progress with the same discipline you track your mistakes. A lot of people only record what went wrong. Impulse buys, missed goals, slip-ups. That builds a constant internal story of failure. Tracking wins, even tiny ones, reprograms your brain to see progress. Every dollar saved, every debt payment made, every week without stupid purchases is proof that your financial identity is changing. Recording progress strengthens your financial self-esteem and helps you keep going when discipline feels heavy. Without tracking wins, it always feels like nothing is changing, even when it is. 43. The habit of learning something about money every day. Your financial situation reflects what you know and what you ignore about money. If you spend years consuming only entertainment and zero financial education, you're choosing confusion. Learning one small thing every day, a concept, a quote, a simple investing idea, a lesson about debt, builds clarity over time. You don't need hours. You need consistency. 5 minutes of money learning a day beats decades of guessing. Without this habit, you keep repeating old mistakes with new excuses. 44. The habit of getting closer to money without fear or shame. A lot of people avoid talking about money because they're afraid of sounding broke, arrogant, or clueless. That silence keeps you stuck. When you approach money without shame, asking questions, wanting to understand, demanding clarity, expecting transparency, you stop playing the victim and start acting like the owner. Shame paralyzes you, curiosity frees you. Talking about money in a normal way helps you make better decisions, avoid being taken advantage of, and build your own judgment. Without this habit, you stay locked in the ignorance that keeps you small. 45. The habit of asking for help before your money problem explodes. Most people ask for help when they're already drowning, when the debt is crushing, the stress is unbearable, and the mess feels impossible. That bad timing is expensive. Asking for help early from a mentor, a trusted friend, a professional, or even reliable content keeps small problems from becoming financial fires. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of responsibility. People who ask for help in time pay less interest, make fewer mistakes, and move faster. Without this habit, you always arrive late to your own rescue. 46. The habit of reviewing subscriptions and invisible spending every 30 days. Many people aren't broke because of huge purchases, but because of tiny leaks. Unused subscriptions, duplicate services, auto-renewals they forgot, small daily charges that quietly drain their account. Reviewing these every 30 days shows you where you're bleeding without noticing. Canceling what you don't use immediately frees up cash and lowers stress. This habit is boring but extremely profitable because it kills invisible losses and gives you control back. Without this monthly review, you keep thinking you don't earn enough, when in reality you're just wasting a lot. 47. The habit of comparing before you buy, especially when it looks like a deal. Most people buy impulsively because they saw a discount, a red tag, or a manipulative line like limited time only. But people who compare before buying discover something uncomfortable. Almost nothing is as urgent or as cheap as it looks. Comparing price, quality, durability, and actual need protects you from emotional buying and aggressive marketing. This habit cuts costs without making you feel deprived. It forces you to pause, analyze, and decide with logic. Without it, you keep falling into traps disguised as deals. 48. The habit of protecting your energy from people who sabotage your financial growth. It's not enough to learn about money if you're still surrounded by people who push you back into habits that hurt you. Some make fun of your savings, pressure you to spend to fit in, invite you to plans you can't afford, or live in constant chaos and drag you with them. Protecting your energy means setting boundaries and keeping strategic distance from people who sabotage your progress, even if they don't mean to. This habit strengthens your discipline and speeds up your growth because it removes the forces quietly pulling you backward. Without this protection, every attempt to improve your finances gets diluted by the wrong influences. 49. The habit of breaking the story in your head that keeps you broke. Many people stay stuck, not because of low income, but because of stories they've repeated for years. I'm just bad with money. Saving is impossible. Wealth is for other people. I'll always be in debt. Those lines sound harmless, but they act like an internal operating system that limits every financial decision. If your mind holds a small identity, your actions will never rise above it. Breaking that story means watching your automatic thoughts, questioning them with logic, and replacing them with beliefs that drive action. I can learn, I can improve, I can build wealth step by step. When you fix the mental root, everything else in your financial life speeds up. 50. The habit of choosing what strengthens your future, not your current impulse. Your financial life shifts when you stop asking, "What do I want right now?" and start asking, "What strengthens my future?" Most people live trapped in impulse, quick buys, short-term pleasure, decisions driven by emotion instead of strategy. That pattern keeps anyone in the same cycle: spend today, stress tomorrow. This habit is simple but brutal. Before any choice, money, time, energy, attention, pause and ask which option builds the future you say you want. It's not about restriction, it's about awareness. When consistency becomes more important than impulse, your life starts to line up with your goals. 51. The habit of measuring your financial progress even when you don't like what you see. A lot of people avoid checking their numbers because they're afraid to face reality, but ignoring your finances never fixes them. Measuring your progress, even when it stings at first, is the only way to turn your goals into something real. Tracking income, expenses, debt, and improvements shows you patterns, leaks, and opportunities. This habit clears the mental fog that keeps you stuck and forces you to act with intention. That initial discomfort is the minimum price for a solid, conscious financial life. 52. The habit of building wealth on purpose, not by luck. Most people are waiting for a raise, a lucky break, or some random opportunity to fix their money. That mindset keeps you passive. Real wealth starts when you decide your progress won't depend on external luck, but on daily habits you control. This habit is about full responsibility, investing even if it's a small amount, saving even when it's uncomfortable, learning even when you're tired, adjusting your behavior even when it hurts your ego. When you stop outsourcing your future to luck and shift to intention, every action becomes a brick in your financial freedom. Transformation doesn't happen all of a sudden. It happens because you stay disciplined even when no one's watching. Nothing in your finances changes until you do. It doesn't matter how many tips you hear, how many videos you watch, or how many times you swear, this time it's different. Financial freedom doesn't show up because you're inspired. It shows up because you build habits, repeat them, and hold on to tough decisions, even when nobody claps for you. These 52 habits aren't pretty theories. They're practical mechanics that pull you out of money stress, mental chaos, and survival mode. If you apply even 5 of them, your relationship with money will start to tilt toward clarity, safety, and abundance. Remember this: every small, disciplined act moves you closer to a life where money stops being a constant weight and becomes a tool. The time to start isn't someday, it's now. And if you're reading this, you've already taken the first step.